on this episode be taking a look at the place of youth in national development and the quest for Nigeria to transform food systems. Do stay with us. World over, it has been acknowledged that there is need for inclusive support mechanisms that ensure youths continue to amplify efforts collectively and individually to restore the planet and protect life while integrating biodiversity in the transformation of food systems. With the world's population expected to increase by 2 billion people in the next 30 years, it has become recognized by numerous stakeholders that simply producing a larger volume of healthier food more sustainably will ensure human and planetary well-being. It is projected that other crucial challenges must also be addressed, such as the interlinkages embodied by the 2030 Agenda, including poverty reduction, social inclusion, healthcare, biodiversity conservation, and climate change mitigation. The need to address this challenge informed the theme of this year's International Youth Day celebration tagged Transforming Food Systems, Youth Innovation for Human and Planetary Health, with the aim of highlighting that the success of such a global effort will not be achieved without the meaningful participation of young people. In Nigeria, the day was marked at various levels, with the federal government taking the lead by hosting a national conference that brought the public officers and youth together. The historic interfaith conference had in attendance top government functionaries led by the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dare, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Sustainable Development Goals, Princess Adejoke Urilukpe Adefulire, UNFPA representative, among others. The conference offered the platform for the government to acquaint the youths with the numerous empowerment opportunities initiated by the government over the last 6 years. The Minister of Youth and Sport Development, Sunday Dare, in his keynote address, listed the empowerment programs to include Empower Nigeria Youth Investment Fund, the National Young Farmers Scheme, Accelerated Agricultural Development Scheme, AADS, the Creative Industry Financing Initiative, CIFI, Digital Skills Entrepreneurship, Employability Leadership, DEEL, Presidential Youth Empowerment Scheme, PES, the Energizing Education Program, EEP, and the National Survival Fund, amongst many others. The minister maintained that in the quest of the government to tackle the unemployment in Nigeria, particularly among youths, which was further deepened by the COVID-19 pandemic, the President Muhammadu Buhari's government has been seeking innovative ways of combating the tide by expanding youth opportunities for the actualization of their potentials. The minister stated that this year's theme, which seeks to highlight the urgency of transforming food systems, particularly in the wake of a global pandemic, is very apt, adding that Nigerian youth are crucial to the transformation of food systems and in the overall actualization of the 2030 Agenda, which includes poverty reduction, social inclusion, healthcare, biodiversity conservation, and climate change mitigation. Commending the President's effort on youth development, the minister said the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration, through the ministry, MDAs, and other partners, will step up awareness creation to enable the youth to make informed decisions on food choices in line with the increasing global education on the healthiest and most sustainable options for both individuals and the environment.
According to the concept notes for the 2021 International Youth Day, the young people hold a crucial role as we work towards the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals and related frameworks. Recent global priorities have centered on fighting the impacts of climate change, unemployment, poverty, gender inequality, conflict, and migration. Many nations, including our dear country, Nigeria, have witnessed young people's unprecedented mobilization around the world, which has demonstrated the massive power that young people possess to hold decision makers accountable and to change the narrative of development. The International Youth Day, therefore, constitutes part United Nations brought out World Program of Action for Youth, an initiative focused on promoting the general well-being and livelihood of young people, with priority focus on education, employment, poverty, hunger, environment, drug abuse, etc.
At the event, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs, Princess Adejoke Orilokpe Adefulure, in her remarks, stated that her office recognizes the role of youths in the implementation of the SDGs at all levels and has been taking necessary steps to alleviate their plights. Princess Adejoke Orilokpe Adefulure, while noting that the Nigerian government has continued to show commitment towards the overall actualization of the SDGs in Nigeria, adding that the OSAP SDGs over the last 5 years has partnered with 9 ministries and NDAs, including the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, to integrate the SDGs into central policies, programs and plans. Also emphasized the need to encourage and engage youth as stakeholders to carry the baton of leadership and innovation to chart the kind of sustainable and inclusive future which the global agenda envisions, specifically Goal 2, aimed at providing sustainable solutions to ending hunger in all forms and achieve food security by 2030.
In the last 5 years, we have worked closely with the 9 ministries, departments, and agencies of government, including the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, to integrate the SDG into sectoral policies, programs, and plans. At our office, we recognize the role of youth in the implementation of SDG at all levels. The proportion of young people in Nigeria aged 15 to 44 is estimated to be around 43.1% of the entire population. During this productive age bracket, it is very critical that youth are engaged to foster sustainable development, and as a major stakeholder group, they must be encouraged to carry the baton of leadership and innovation to share the kind of sustainable and inclusive future which the 2030 agenda envisions. Specifically, SDG 2 seeks sustainable solutions to end hunger in all forms by 2030 and to achieve food security. Achieving this goal will require better access to food and significant commitment to sustainable agriculture. This entails improving the productivities and income of small-scale farmers, promoting equal access to land, technology, and market, as well as promoting sustainable food production systems and resilient agricultural processes. It is also require increased investment in the agricultural sector through financial resources, technological innovation, and human capital.
Minister of Women Affairs, Dame Pauline Talen, said that this year's International Youth Day theme speaks to global success, which will not be possible without the meaningful participation of young people who, by virtue of their innovative minds, represent the future. The minister acknowledged the remarkable contribution of women to nation building, while reiterating the need to overcome the issues of mistrust, insecurity, ethnic and tribal differences towards collectively achieving President Muhammadu Buhari's next-level agenda, adding that youth are the symbol of continuity in the social and economic development of any society, and that there is need to engage them in stirring greater advocacy to enhance the transformation of food systems in Nigeria.
The 2021 theme, Transforming Food Systems, Youth Innovation for Human and Planetary Health, speaks to the success of this global effort, which will not be possible without the meaningful participation of young people who, by virtue of their innovative minds, represent our future. On this special day, I want to celebrate 2 energetic female youth, Ese Brume and Blessing Oborodudu, who succeeded in putting the Nigerian colors on the global map at the Olympics. As a Minister of Women Affairs, I feel proud that women have done it again. This is truly worth celebrating, and at the appropriate time, we will roll out the carpets and beat the drums to honor them. As a nation, there are There are daunting security challenges, mistrust, and ethnic cleavages, but we must come together beyond our traditional and tribal differences and work towards advancing concrete actions to interact and support President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, to achieve the goal of the next level agenda. It is no illusion that the youth, male and female, constitute a majority of the total population of the country. They are always seen as the symbol of continuity in the economic and social development of any society. Therefore, their participation as critical stakeholders will stir greater advocacy as we take the message to the grassroots. In view of their population and vibrancy, they can help accelerate our quest to transform the food system in Nigeria and our efforts in achieving the zero tolerance against hunger and gender-based violence.
Also at the 2021 International Youth Day celebration was the Honorable Minister of State for the Federal Capital Territory, who said the 1999 Declaration of the United Nations to set aside a day to celebrate the young population and address youth issues remains one of the most important decisions ever made. She added that achieving food security requires integrating young people who constitute a higher part of the workforce and the most energetic group of any demography into national development plans.
The occasion is important because the youth form the most populous and energetic group in our demography. They are also significant because they constitute the largest workforce. Youth are not only relevant in our future sustainability, they are contributing their effort in our present development and strides. The theme of this year's celebration, Transforming Food System, Youth Innovation for Human and Planetary Health, cannot be achieved in isolation without engaging the youth, particularly if we take into cognizance factors embodied by the 2030 Agenda, which include poverty, social exclusion, healthcare, biodiversity conservation, and climate change mitigation.
Also speaking at the event, Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, remarked that the Youth Day theme, Transforming Food Systems, Youth Innovation for Human and Planetary Health, raises the focus to certain global concerns which include food security for the teeming population and innovation as the response to socio-economic challenges. Ngige also noted that with the youths constituting about 70% of the Nigerian population, the high unemployment rate should be seen as an opportunity to mobilize and deploy youthful strength through innovation to produce healthier foods using simplified environment-friendly technologies for enhancing the quest for sustainable development.
Nigeria is blessed with a youthful population with over 70% of our nation's demography in the economically active and working age group. Nigerian youth, both at home and in the diaspora, have proven their mettle by distinguishing themselves in various fields of human endeavor to make Nigeria proud among her peers. The current challenges of high youth unemployment rate in the country, also exacerbated by the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, should be seen as opportunities to mobilize and deploy strength through innovation to produce healthier foods using simplified technologies that are environment-friendly for the assurance of sustainable development.
The Minister of Labour expressed confidence as he stated that Nigerian youths, both home and abroad, have continued to make the nation proud and distinguish themselves among their peers. He added that the Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment will continue to provide opportunities for the young to acquire new skills, especially in agribusiness and various skills acquisition centers set up by the ministry through the National Directorate of Employment across the country.
The Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment identifies with the Nigerian youth and will continue to make available to our teeming youth population opportunities to acquire new skills, including agro-business skills and green job skills, delivered at the various skills acquisition centers set up by the ministry and the National Directorate of Employment in various states of the Federation. The Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment will continue to work closely in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Youth Development and other stakeholders in order to plan and equip the youth with skills marketable in Nigeria and the African continent, leveraging on the opportunities provided by the African Free Trade Area Agreement and similar opportunities.
The Director General of the National Youth Service Corps, Brigadier General Shuaibu Ibrahim, urged Nigerian youth to use the occasion of the International Youth Day to reflect on their roles and expectations as the emerging generations of visionary leaders as they continue to strive towards excellence in their entire endeavor, because the youth remains key in the quest to achieve prosperous nation. The DG appreciated President Muhammadu Buhari's administration for demonstrating great commitment through the various policies and programs it has initiated. He added that leveraging on these policies and programs will put the youth on the advantage to make enormous impacts.
Let me use this occasion to reaffirm the commitment of the NYC management to the mandate of the scheme and our support for all the youth policies of the federal government. As managers of the largest youth organization in Africa, we are not oblivious of the attendant dangers of manipulating and misleading our youth. Therefore, I enjoin our youth to eschew social vices, including violence, corruption, cultism, banditry, vandalism, rape, drug abuse, lawlessness, and ethnic jingoism. In particular, I urge you not to allow yourselves to be used under any guise for the destabilization of our country.
Country Director for Food and Agricultural Organization, Mr. Fred Cafill, in his remarks stated that the 2021 International Youth Day comes at a very important and critical time globally, as the 2021 has been marked as the year of the United Nations Food Systems Summit to be facilitated by the Federal Ministry of Planning, Budget and Finance. He said there is evidence that Nigeria's food systems have not been functional, as youth and women are excluded from the food systems. He, however, noted that with the considerable size of Nigeria's youth population, there is significant scope and entry point for the youth to contribute substantially towards addressing the gaps and releasing the bottlenecks that hinders the transformation of the nation's food systems.
The FAO has initiated many initiatives and interventions to support youth participation in agriculture, particularly as enshrined in our country programming framework, which seeks to promote climate-smart and climate-resilience agriculture, to encourage youth to make agriculture cool, as they said, and to attract many entrepreneurs to invest and develop viable livelihoods and income-generating opportunities. We work also to support sustainable management of natural resources through support to developing innovative solutions that will encourage youth to participate and contribute in addressing climate-related mitigation and adaptation actions.
To encourage the youth on possibilities that abound in agriculture and food systems chain, various entrepreneurs shared their stories aimed at motivating the youth to get engaged.
One of the key things within our organization is to see how we can solve zero hunger, which is SDG Goal 2. And we do this by our social welfare. That is one of our thematic areas where we go to communities to give out food items, encourage those living in poverty, how we could help elevate them from poverty, which is one of the vision of the organization. And also at the same time, when it has to do with youth innovation, we're also an organization that channels youth and encourages youth. What are you doing to be different? What are the innovation and ideas you're bringing to Nigeria? So it shouldn't just be a youth by our leaders are going to do it, but what difference are you trying to make as a youth in the country? We need innovative ideas that could help farmers. This is just a wake-up call for all youths to come up with innovative ideas that is not just going to be beneficial to we Nigerians, but also put us on the global map.
Highlights of the events commemorating the International Day celebration in Nigeria included a panel of discussion where different views concerning the food systems were put to perspective, and a drama and dance performance by various youth groups. With a needed atmosphere for innovations among the youth to thrive, my colleague Desmond Utonwe engaged the Minister of Youth and Sports Development further. Take a listen.
Honorable Minister, it's been an eventful day for you today at the International Youth Day celebration with the theme Transforming Food System. What would you say, or how would you say this has actually gone in terms of preparing the youth for contributing their own quota to the transformation of food system in Nigeria?
I think what the International Youth Day theme has done for us this year is helping us to look at the contribution of our youth to national development through the eye of food systems and innovation. And I think the dominant word here, or the key word here, is innovation. The innovative skills and minds of our youth transcends not just food system and agriculture, but also covers several areas, like I said, from agriculture to medicine, to education, to commerce, to marketing, and just on and on. I think this offers an opportunity to sit back and take stock, but also to come to the realization that our youth, they are the core of our development, because their innovative skills will be needed to move our world forward.
The innovation is very, very key, all right? And most people would tell that you need to make provisions for that as government, create the right environment for innovations to thrive in the country. Would you say your ministry and the government at large has probably done enough in trying to create that environment for innovations to thrive among the youth?
I think in 6 years, the President Muhammadu Buhari-led government has done quite a lot and is doing more. And I'm just going to speak to just one sector, which is the fintech. There's no government that has been able to develop the kind of licensing regime that we have on the fintech that has helped our youth. It was designed specially for our youth. Unlike when you need to go through the long, tortuous process of banking license, the fintech license comes designed, ready to go for our youth. And that's why Flutter Wave and a couple of other fintech companies are able to survive and then make hundreds of millions of dollars. There's so many other payment platforms that we have across the country that have benefited from fintech. But beyond that, we look at about 40 to 45 youth-focused programs in 6 years under President Muhammadu Buhari. That is unprecedented. I think what's important is that our youth must apply themselves. They must search for these opportunities. They must apply themselves to these opportunities so that they can benefit from it. And I can go on and on. The Nigerian Youth Investment Fund, the Empower program, nothing like that. The most significant youth empowerment program in the entire sub-Saharan Africa. I can just read them off. And I think that this government will do more, but we need our youth to be able to apply themselves to these opportunities so that we can scale up those that benefit from it.
Yeah, applying themselves requires that they are pointed to the direction that's where these programs are. Are we doing enough to point them to those directions?
Well, I think we are, because since October last year, when we had the youth come out and make certain demands, and then around that demand, you had several other demands come together. What we have done is to kind of give greater visibility to youth-focused programs, where you can find most of this information on the social media, the platforms where the youth engage. Most ministries and departments and agencies now go put their information on the platforms where the youth engage. And ultimately, it also boils down to the issue that if you spend 7 hours online daily, do you devote 30 minutes to look for opportunities yourself? I'm a product of opportunities. I devoted time to searching for opportunities online. And I think we've also tried to make the process of recruitment more transparent. We've also tried to accelerate that process. I think our youth should just plug in, give the government the benefit of the doubt, and I think they will benefit.
Large youth population for Nigeria, is it a blessing?
Well, I think that it's important to use this occasion of the International Youth Day to speak directly to Nigerian youth. Like I've said often and often again, the youth of our country, Nigeria, they are a resource, to be honest. In another 10, 15 years, Nigeria's greatest resource will no longer be oil, but the youth of our country, their innovative skills, their enterprise, and so many things they bring to the table. And I want to say to the youth of our country, the future starts now. They are the engine of development for our country. We have seen them transcend in several spheres. We need their energies, we need their wisdom, we need their skills to be able to turn things around for this country.
And that's how much we can take on the program this week. Do keep a date with us next week for another insightful episode. I am Toyin Nkamiang John. Thank you for staying with us.
This present government has done a lot on the train modernization. They came in and completed the Abuja Kaduna, and we have 9 stations there, 5 stopping stations and 4 crossing stations, making 9. And when we started in 2016, we started with 2 trips, then we later moved on to 8 trips. And we are talking about moving to 14 trips a day, and we have been able to send 10 DMUs, 10 coaches, and 2 locomotives new. We have 12 stations on the Takbere Warri line. It's about 312 kilometer length of track, and it's over 35 years old. And the government came and took it up, finished the track, built modern stationing, and the stations are finished. Working on the signaling. We all hope to start the commercial operation by the end of September.
Since coming into office in 2015, the Buhari administration has recorded unprecedented achievements in all sectors, especially in the provision of infrastructure, which is the key to economic growth. Never in the history of this country has any other administration done so much with so little. Recall that when this administration came into office, the price of crude oil, which provides for 80% of Nigeria's budgetary revenues and 95% of foreign exchange earning, dropped drastically, thus reducing the amount of resources available to the federal government. In spite of this, the administration has continued apace with massive infrastructure developments.
This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
We are all Nigerians. Against all odds, we shall and must remain united. We may have our challenges, our problems, and setbacks. However, together we shall overcome them all. What doesn't break us shall make us stronger. This is the mindset that shall bring peace, progress, and prosperity to our beloved country. Do not let tribal and religious sentiments govern how you think, act, or feel. Don't be influenced by those who want to destroy our precious national unity. Everybody who is a Nigerian is your brother and your sister. This is the mindset of the new Nigeria. It is also the mindset that we must all adopt. Let us support each other in creating the Nigeria of our dreams. This message is from the Nigerian Television Authority.
This is the network service of the NTA.
and welcome to another episode of Health Options. I am Rabi Abdullah. Not getting pregnant, despite having carefully timed unprotected sex for 1 year, could be a source of concern to any couple. The cause of infertility may be difficult to determine, but may include inadequate levels of certain hormones in both men and women and trouble with ovulation in women. The Nigerian situation is put at more than 100,000 cases per year. Many treatments which significantly improve the chances of getting pregnant varies. We shall bring you these treatment options and other information that could go a long way in not only helping couples to make informed choices, but change their perception as well as broaden their knowledge on the issue of infertility. Our complementary segment takes a look at cholera, which is on the rise with attendant high death toll. The NCDC says it's much higher than deaths from COVID-19 at the moment. Thanks for joining us on the program. If you're just joining us, this is Health Options, the program that not only tracks government policies on health, but helps you with the right information you need to make informed choices about your health. Our attention is on infertility and treatment options. And to take us through the topic is a renowned consultant obstetrician and gynecologist, Dr. Bami Boye Ezekiel Ogumbi. He's a pioneer medical graduate of the Ahmadu Bello University Zaria and a former member of Council of Society of Obstetrics and Gynecologists of Nigeria, SAGAN, with almost 50 years in active medical practice in both public and private space. Thanks for joining us on Health Options, Doctor. Yeah, it's a pleasure having you with us.
It's a privilege to be here.
And we're privileged to share in your wealth of experience in the medical field.
The pleasure is mine.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we're looking at infertility.
Yeah.
Infertility is, if you ask me, not a friendly word.
No.
Won't be a friendly word in any home.
No.
Okay. So, when should we start looking at a situation of infertility in a couple?
Thank you very much. Generally speaking, when a couple live together, majority will not conceive within the first 6 to 8 months of togetherness. And even when all is well on both sides. And so basically, we gynecologists, we are not worried because we know that that is a normal phenomenon. Because it's also possible that they may not meet at the right time, or because of work situations, they may not have circumstances that will make them meet. And so when we start to think that there's a need to look into what is going on is when they have been living together and they've been having active, unprotected family relationship for a period of 1 year. So from then on, then we can say, yes, maybe they will need some counseling, and maybe they also need simple explanation about the physiology of their body, and so that we really do not raise fears in them that something serious is going on. And when they come to us, we have to see both the husband and the wife, not seeing one at the exclusion of the other. The problem can actually arise from either the woman or the man, or in some cases, even both. And so we see them together as a couple. And we are not looking for who is at fault. We are looking at what factor is at fault. Because generally speaking, when a situation like this arises, then the blame game comes into it. Oh, it's your fault, it's my fault.
And suspicion.
And suspicion and the rest of them. The assumption is the female is the one at fault. And whereas this is completely false.
What would you say remains the major cause of infertility in both men and women now?
It varies from person to person. But by far the commonest is challenges relating to ovulation. And in our own environment, we can also rule out factors relating to the fallopian tubes, either partially blocked or completely blocked. But having said that, when you have young male and female married, less than 25 years of age, their reproductive potential is excellent. And unless some challenges to their health has occurred in the past, they usually have an easy time investigating and thereafter correcting whatever the challenge is. Basically, we have to let them know that for them to get pregnant, there must be ovulation. For ovulation to take place, the sperm must be made available to be able to reach the ovum that is shedded from the ovary once in the middle of the cycle every month. And so with all these, sometimes we find out that simple counseling will, in majority of cases, give them a leadway as to what to do to achieve conception. However, there are some situations in which a woman would have had a previous history of either pelvic infection, which may have blocked their fallopian tubes, or sometimes they may have had abortions, termination of pregnancies, when they have unplanned pregnancies that ended up with pelvic infection and somehow has affected either the endometrium or indeed the fallopian tubes, which is the duct through which the egg passes before there's an opportunity for the sperm to meet the egg and before fertilization takes place. And by and large, you also have some that have situations from hormonal factors. And so basically, after we have counseled them, we have examined both of them, we examine the man and make sure we also ask, has he had challenges at one time or the other with some diseases that can actually affect this production of sperms in him? We want to know, did he have mumps as a little child? This could affect his chances of fertility. And has he had injury to the testicle, like a torsion of the testicle, or even one thing or the other that may affect the production of semen or sperms? So after we are taking all this history, and in the absence of all this, we do it by exclusion, and then we know where to go from there.
The quality of sperm matters here.
Oh, definitely.
So what could, tinker with that in a man to make it not having the needed quality?
A man who is hooked on alcohol can have poor quality of sperm. And some of them also who are hooked on marijuana, smoking, cigarette, marijuana. All these affect the quality of sperm. And indeed, the man also may have had some sexually transmitted disease at one time or the other that can also affect the duct along which the sperm, after production, comes out. Up to more than 20% in cases of infertility is responsible through the men, not only women, as it is being wrongly conceived.
What are some of those, aspects of solution that the couple need to, explore and take advantage of before going to what many could say should be seen? I'm sure experts like you will want to seen rather as the last resort, talking about IVF now.
Before IVF came, we used to do tuber surgery. And there are particular tuber surgeries that do not need elaborate things, that if it is one affecting the tube and it is in the femoral end, that in an expert hand can actually lead to success. And apart from that, the majority of them are purely due to ovulatory challenges. And when it is ovulatory challenges, all we need to do their hormonal profile, know exactly what is wrong. In some cases, there is a particular hormone called prolactin. If prolactin level, which is being produced from the anterior pituitary, is at a high level, even that alone can create the challenge that we are talking about.
That's on the part of the woman.
On the part of the woman. Yes. And this can be corrected simple by medical treatment with drugs. They also have situations that are called pelvic endometriosis. That is when you have the endometrial tissue, it is outside the normal environment, which is supposed to be within the inner lining of the womb, is outside. That is a situation which, again, if it is not in severe cases, can be simply treated with medication. Fibroids is by far the commonest benign conditions in the female between the age of 25 and 40. If you take about 100 women, in fact, if you go to the marketplace and you look about 5 women between the age of 25 and 40, almost 1 or 2 of them will have fibroids. The symptoms they have also will suggest that they need some medical attention. And sometimes once this is corrected, and if it is the only circumstance, then there will be success at the end of it. Now, there is a condition that we call polycystic ovary syndrome. This also is a condition where the hormones of the female is producing more male hormones, and therefore is negating the procedure of fertility. And so this is a difficult one to treat, but most often they respond to drug treatment. If there's a high prolactin and it is the exclusive one, we give drugs that will correct that. If there is challenge with the hormonal situations, either you have too much thyroid hormones or too little, we know what to do.
Can we touch on the issue of IVF, the benefits, the risks?
Yeah, I must say that IVF, is in vitro fertilization, has changed the narratives for management of infertility, especially for a very small percentage of the women and the families that are looking for babies. As it were, the egg and the sperm is brought out in the laboratory and transferred into the woman's womb when you find out there are circumstances that have prevented her from conceiving all over the year. And it is very, very expensive. So not many people can afford it. But having said that, the results of those of our very, very brilliant gynecologists who are doing it is comparable to almost any in the outside world. And I'm glad to say that we have quite a number of members of our society all over Nigeria.
That's Sogon.
Sogon, who are actually helping women in so many, many ways to do that. But of course, who are we now talking about? The people who can afford. And the other problem with that is that you do not have any guarantee that the first attempt will do the trick. And so it may be repeated. And I've known of some families who have sold their houses, sold their property, only to go into this, and some end up successful, and others not so successful. And after that, of course, there could be a lot of emotional challenges.
What have you got to say, to young ladies, young couple who wouldn't want to go through the conventional way of, conception?
You know that every aspect of human endeavor now, everybody's in a hurry.
Yes.
They're in a hurry to get rich. They're in a hurry to do everything they want to do. So it's not surprising that some will say, look, I would rather go and do IVF ab initio, even before going to anything else. And for God's sake, what are we talking about? I mean, this is not right because, first of all, it has benefits, but it also has disadvantages. There are so many other reasons some people want to do it. Some will say they will sex selection. Some will say, oh, they want to have also even some genetic disorders like sickle cell disease. These are noble causes, and one will say, yes, go ahead. But when you go purely for aesthetic reasons, or because you are in a hurry, or because you have so much money to spare, I would rather say, please be careful, because it can backfire.
Okay, what will be your final word to viewers there where infertility is concerned? Patience, making the right choices, and all of that.
I want to say that procreation is part of life, and definitely every woman and every man or every family, God has a good plan for you. The first thing you must do is make the right choice. Approach the problem in a progressive manner, and don't be in a hurry. And you'll be surprised that you'll get the answer somewhere along the way. However, we must also say that IVF has come to give broader options to some people who otherwise will never have children. So for such, there is provision. And so you can access that type of care, and so that you can have a happy family.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gumbi.
Thank you so very much, Thank you so much.
We really appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Reports from the NCDC indicate that cholera is spreading at an alarming rate and claiming lives in the country much more than COVID-19 at the moment. Our next segment takes a look at the predisposing factors to cholera and prevention.
Cholera outbreak in Nigeria is not new. In fact, in the last 5 years, we've had cholera outbreaks several times. And in 2018, we had over 40,000 cases in 20 states, in 2018 alone, and very close to 1,000 deaths in 2018. Now, in the last 2 months, we've had cholera outbreak in about 22 to 23 states in Nigeria. Why do we have cholera outbreak? First and foremost, we need to look at, what is the access to safe water sources in Nigeria? About 30% of the population lack access to safe water. That's why. We also have 46 million people, which is about 23% of the population, practicing open defecation. What does that mean? They go outside in the open to pass excreta. And where does this excreta go? It still goes back to the environment. Now, cholera is just an offshoot of contamination of food we eat, now contaminated with fecal matter. It's as simple as that. So it's a fecal-oral problem. When feces inadvertently is ingested into the body, it brings about cholera. It's as simple as that. So what do we need to do? Now, I know that a lot of people have been talking about cholera. It's a big issue in Nigeria. Yes, I agree. I totally agree. It's a big problem. And I'm also, I'm interested to know that Nigeria happens to be the second most cholera endemic country in Africa after Democratic Republic of Congo. So it's not a new problem to us. Just like malaria. Yes, you are right. So it's not a new problem. So, and we also know what the causes are. The causes are people do not have access to safe water to drink. People do not have access to effective sanitation. People still practice open defecation. And let me also tell you, hand washing alone, it's a very important practice to prevent cholera. But in Nigeria, more than 100 million people, about 56% of the population, do not even have access to facilities for proper hand washing. So how do we expect to prevent cholera? That's the question. Now, it's not just about providing water. So you can have big water schemes. If you do not have effective sanitation facilities, it's still going to be a problem. Even if you have access to sanitation facilities, people do not have the behavior, they do not adopt the behavior of proper hand washing your hand properly under running water with soap. And for people in rural communities, they can use ash. If you don't do all those things, you still have problem of cholera. We need to have community-led approaches to preventing cholera. First and foremost, even when we have water, safe water, it might be safe at the source. We need to look at the water chain. As we are fetching the water from the source, as we are transporting to the household, as we are storing for use in the household, we need to ensure that all the containers are clean. That's what they call safe water chain. That's very important. We also need to adopt the habit of hand washing at critical times. When we use the toilet, we come out of the toilet, we need to wash our hands properly. Nursing mothers who are taking care of children need to wash their hands properly all the time. Because as they touch food also, as they prepare food for babies, they prepare food for the family, we need to wash our hands. So proper hand washing is very important. And one of the things that UNICEF is also doing, UNICEF is supporting the federal government of Nigeria to develop what they call hand hygiene roadmap. And hand hygiene is all about proper hand washing. How do we keep our hands clean? As you see our fingers, when you look at them, they don't look dirty. But I can assure you, everything we touch has its own dirt. And these are small things that really lead to cholera. Now, if somebody is infected and the person defecates in the open and there is no rainfall, the rainwater will just flush everything straight into the water source. All the people who drink from that source will have cholera. It's as simple as that. So we need to ensure that our toilets are not close to the water source. And even if at all, the toilet has to be downhill while the water source is uphill. So it won't allow the shit underground to climb into the water source. There are simple measures, but they are very important. While we also continue to encourage the government to ensure that Nigerians have increased access to safe water. I know there are quite a number of water schemes, and that's why UNICEF is also supporting government to not just to build new water schemes, but to rehabilitate the existing water schemes. We need to rehabilitate them. We need to ensure that they are working. We also need to do campaigns, hygiene promotion campaigns. It's very important. As I said, the role of the media, the print media, electronic, and even social media, very, very important. So we need to continue to do that. And I also think sincerely that chlorination is very important. The existing water sources will need to be chlorinated. UNICEF is also supporting in some of the states to do that. And we've just secured some funding from UK Aid, and I see that as the Swedish International Development Agency, to support some of these, about six of the states that are badly affected, to ensure that they have ORS, that's oral additional salts, and then zinc tablet for people who are affected, and to also ensure that there's chlorination of the existing water sources and do hygiene promotion campaigns. We are really working on that. We are working with the federal government and also the states concerned as UNICEF.
And that's the size of our package for this week. A quick reminder that you can go to our YouTube channel to watch the upload of these and other episodes of the program. Email us for your comments and contributions at healthoptions@nta.gov.ng. Remember also to stay safe from cholera and COVID-19 by observing the safety protocols as well as personal, food, and environmental hygiene. I remain yours, Rabi Abdullah. Many thanks for watching. Hope to see you again.
we started with a very aggressive response from the very beginning. If you remember the very first case in Nigeria, very well contained, very few infections arose from that. We started airport screenings and temperature checks way before anyone really understood what was going on. On the front lines of the response, the team here at the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, supported all the 36 states. At some point, we had teams in 32 of our 36 states concurrently, leading the response, the emergency operations centers, making sure we're getting the surveillance data, building up our information resources on our website. Our website became one of the most visited websites on the continent, as many other African countries were looking to the leadership Nigerians provided. At our Incident Coordination Center, people were working literally 14, 15 hours every single day.
This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
The NOA, for example, has succeeded a great deal in sensitization during the pandemic, and we have found the community mobilization officers most effective in the sensitization and in the advocacy campaigns, creating awareness on the coronavirus pandemic. We have done this through the production of jingles, which were very widely distributed in different languages, in English, in Hausa, in Yoruba, in Igbo, in Tiv, in Igala, in Kanuri, in Fulfulde, in Ijo, in Isoko, in Bini. In talk of any other language you can think of, we had translated sensitization messages.
This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
The center is purposely established in order to provide these services that are examinations, medical examinations, and investigations that were not provided for in Kano as well as the entire Northwest region. It's equipped with modern technological equipment in terms of radiological services. We have MRI 1.5 Tesla. We have digital X-ray as well as 4D ultrasound equipment. The importance of the center cannot be overemphasized. Just within 1 year, the center attended to thousands and numerous patients as well as medical examinations. NKDC is established in order also to provide these healthcare facilities at a discounted price.
This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
We've been trying our best to contain the situation. In our operations, we've been able to make a lot of recoveries. We've been able to also arrest suspects that are involved in this kind of activities. And we've been able to also recover particularly arms and ammunition from those who are carrying it unlawfully and disturbing the peace of the people. But generally, our morale in the Nigerian police is always guided by our commitment to do what we have sworn to do. Peace and security must be looked into as a priority by all, to look at security as the business of all of us.
This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Finally, the hero of Nigeria's democracy has arrived. He shall usher us into a new phase of development, peace, and prosperity. He is the father of the new Nigeria, His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR. Welcome to another season of giving Nigerians hope yet again. We are sure of a great future for both ourselves and generations yet unborn. We look forward to your leading us as a nation into our manifest destiny. Though the challenges against us as a people are many, we know.
Hello, here's the news update at 11. A crucial meeting of the National Security Council is underway at the presidential villa. President Muhammadu Buhari summoned the meeting to critically analyze the prevailing challenges of security, bedeviling the country with a view to charting the best way forward. In attendance were Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, Chief of Staff to the President, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Minister of Defense, Justice, Interior, Police and Foreign Affairs, as well as National Security Advisor. Others were the service chiefs led by the Chief of Defense Staff, Inspector General Police, Directors General, Department of State Services and the National Intelligence Agency, Chief of Defense Intelligence and other relevant stakeholders. A meeting is expected to discuss successes being achieved in the renewed onslaught against terrorism and insurgency, the implications of the mass surrender by terrorists, kidnapping, banditry and other acts of criminality in parts of the country. And the Federal Executive Council has approved the construction of a new airport in Yobe State for enhanced connectivity and improved security within the Northeast region, to be known as Wachakal Airport. The airport is expected to cost over 6.2 billion naira.
And this will generally answer the question as to the growth and development of civil aviation, and also to show our preparedness for emergencies and military operation and other security agencies.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has reassured the international community that Nigeria is not a failed or failing state. He gave the reassurance during media engagements with the International Media Organization in Washington, D.C., United States.
To correct the narrative about the war against insurgency, and the truth of the matter is that Nigeria is today winning the war.
That's the news update at this time. Do join us for more update at 1. Many thanks for watching. I'm Comfort Amadu.